The biggest takeaway that I've ever learned from anybody who was a mentor to me that I try to employ is get really good at asking questions. And I don't mean just yes or no questions, how do you feel today, anything like that, but ask open-ended questions that evoke an answer. And if you get really good at it, you can tend to lead the people where they need to be, even if it's a hard conversation. Welcome to the Nice Business Podcast. I'm your host, Richard Train, business, leadership, and culture consultant, and Vistage CEO, peer advisory group chair. And I'm joined by my friend, Jim Bob Howard, veteran technical consultant. Together, we have more than 60 combined years of business and organizational experience. The purpose of this podcast is to have short but meaningful discussions about the people and culture side of business and how owners and executives can be both kind and successful. Welcome to the Nice Business Podcast with me, Richard Train, and with my friend Jim Bob Howard. And today we also have our guest is Jacob Johnson of Calyan Wax Company. And he's got a phenomenal company with a phenomenal mission. And let's get into it. Jacob, why don't you give us a little bit of an update on who you are, what your company does, where you're sold, and all the new things that you've got coming down the pipe.
Hey, thanks, Richard. Thanks, Jim Bob, for having me on. Excited to talk about Calyan and what we're doing and how we're impacting people and lives, and then talking about business and leadership, some of my favorite topics. Calyan is a home fragrance brand focused on giving you a simple way to become a social advocate against human trafficking right here in America. So we do that by crafting beautiful home fragrance products, most notably our candle line, but also other accessory lines. And then we donate 5% of pre-tax profit to trusted, vetted organizations that we've built relationships with that we know well, all for the hope of saying, hey, come enjoy a beautiful product that's competitive and is going to be a great delight to your home, and take part in a grand social mission to end human trafficking once and for all, to end the buying and selling of young people. That's a tough topic. We don't love to talk about it, but for most of us, it'll grind our gears. It will pull at your heart, right? None of us want it to exist. But so often we just struggle to really know what to do about it. It's a hidden world. There's a lot of obscure data on it. You'll sometimes get clickbait coming at you that's overstating it in some way, or sometimes we don't really understand just how big of an issue it is. We try to boil all that down to a simple purchase that's practical. That's where you shop, hopefully. That's the goal. And so you can say, hey, I took a step towards social advocacy. And we hope that's the beginning. We hope that you'll engage directly with our nonprofit partners or with your local organization, or share online, or study more and equip yourself and your family. But we definitely hope to be a starting point and definitely a bridge between that desire and actual action. And so that's the ethos of the brand. That's what gets us up. That's why I started the company, was to fuel the fight against trafficking. We just happened to do that with candles and room sprays and other exciting products coming down the pipeline. But our main focus is scaling in natural grocery. And so that looks like partnerships like Whole Foods Market, Sprouts Farmers Market, and then regional chains throughout the country. So if you're in Texas Central Market, or if you're up in the Midwest, Fresh Time, all these stores, we've been able to serve really well with just good business, good product, great velocities, all of that stuff. But also these stores, they want to make a social impact too. And they want products that not only make them money, but also are better for not just people, but also planet. And so that's another beautiful bridge, or just combination that we have of, hey, we care about people that are trapped in trafficking, but it extends beyond that. We care about our planet, and we care about bringing wholesome product that's safe for your home, that you'll appreciate burning, that you can understand how it's made. And so we try to do the right thing in all facets, and not just the give back model, but also in how we produce and put together products.
That's great. So the question that I had for you was, it sounded like the mission came first before the product of the company. Was that, or was it the other way around? Were you looking to create a company and then figure out what is the mission that I want to attach to? Or was it the first?
I appreciate you bringing it up. That's a great distinction of the Calyan brand that hopefully further builds trust with people of we are here to end trafficking. We just happen to be doing it with home fragrance. The mission came first. I actually thought I'd be going into law enforcement. I thought that'd be the fruition of just this deep longing for justice to be had. I've been able to unfortunately see the effects of that type of abuse on young people, and it'll, especially if you're a father, but
Sure.
anybody, it'll get you wanting justice quickly. And so I couldn't shake that. And so God had other plans for me. It might still be law enforcement one day, but it's still that I couldn't shake that. It's like, all right, if I'm going to fight for something, I'm going to fight for freedom and protection of vulnerable people. And so that's when just all the passion for business and the entrepreneurial spirit, all that started blanketing over this concept. All right, what social mission or social entrepreneurship, give back models that started to brew back in 2013, 2014. And that kind of led to the idea of, hey, how about a give back model company?
Yeah, that's great. Now, I'm glad that you apparently found the products that would help you to accomplish that. But I know we also talked about, obviously the goal here is to scale, to be able to make more change. And obviously it's a business. Tell me some of the things that you have had to encounter as far as scaling and issues that you've encountered, and how did you overcome them?
Oh, that is a great question. There's just so many thoughts that just instantly flood in. And so I'm like, all right, what trauma or what pain do I want to talk about right now? I shouldn't use the word trauma, but just, business
Sure.
challenge and pain.
Yeah.
We are in the business of scaling. It's really simple equations: more profit, more donation, more impact. And to
Right.
get more profit, we can either try to get more efficient, and we always are doing that. But generally, we need massive revenue, top line growth, and consistent efficiency gains to just enrich that bottom line. And so that's the objective each year. Like, we're not a business that has the luxury, and nobody generally agrees with this strategy too. If you're not growing, you're dying. But for us, we take it like a step further. It's like, if we're not growing, we're not fulfilling the core mission of this business.
Yeah. Exactly.
It's kind of a twofold reason of growth, not growth at all costs, but growth for the sake of other people. And that'll motivate us. We just obviously can't grow too fast. That will die, but we're definitely not going to try to intentionally grow slow. As
Of
long as we
course.
have the cash, we're going to pursue it. And I would say one blanketing thing that especially inventory based, we're also self-manufacturing all our stuff. So really ops heavy. And inventory heavy is cash flow is the first thing that comes to my mind since day
Right.
one. Started it with a little bit of personal capital, about like $15,000 I had saved up from doing some roofing door-to-door sales. And that was enough for some wax and pay a designer for a website. It's a decent logo. And then it's just been a nonstop onslaught of cash flow pinches forever. We're 8.5 years in, and it is, getting better to a degree. And as we get more historicals, we're able to attract the capital we need a little easier through banking partners. We've taken on some investment earlier on in 2019, 2021. But so cash flow and just managing that, especially first time founder here, not from a finance background, there's some challenge there. People management and
Yeah.
leadership, especially a young leader. I haven't made all the mistakes in the book, but I feel like I have. I feel like I hiring, firing, being a good leader, being a bad leader, just being immature. I started the business when I was 23, and then I started trying to manage people, and I had no idea what I was doing. And so the the roughest part about that is when you're leading, you influence, and someone's day-to-day life can be influenced by you pretty dramatically, for good or worse. Anyways, we could go into that, but just building an actual team that can scale this business, to not have the business be too dependent on me or to be capped by me, is something I'm very focused on in the last couple of years.
What are
And
things
then
that
building a
you
culture.
Yeah, what are some of the things that you've learned as you've gone along? Like you said, you started off when you were fairly young, and you've got employees, your mission is to help people, right? So it's not just the people that hopefully are going to get the give back side of things on the, for ending trafficking, but it's also the employees. But like you said, you've got to fire people sometimes, and sometimes when it goes about hiring people, what are some of the things that you've learned, or maybe some things that you do different today than what you did at the beginning, that have really kind of shaped maybe how Calyan is doing things today, that you'd want to share with our listeners?
Yeah, happy to. Lots of lessons learned, and we'll see which ones come to mind here. But I do want to, you hit a really good point. Callion is here to serve others,
Right.
and that is not just the nonprofits we give back to and the people they affect, it's internally. And that's another really big passion of mine. It's the visions, we have it written down, it's a little bit longer, but the basics of it is to be the best place you've ever worked.
Yeah.
And to do that, you've got to, a lot more tangible
Sure.
to that, but to encourage, to build up,
Yeah.
not to put down, for you to, if you do leave, you leave better off than when you came in. And some things I've learned just really tactfully on filling specific roles is to get really clear on what I'm actually looking for and the core competencies I need, and then what are things that I'm okay with from a deficit side, because we all have our strengths and weaknesses. And so I've been doing far more proactive thought on, all right, what's the things I really need this person, not just from a technical expertise, that's a little easier, but just from a strategic thinking, their ability on administrative, like what is this role actually, and doing a little bit more prep work there, and then using tools like we use the culture index test, and that helps really understand where people's strengths are and really trying to align it to the role. Before, really early on, I'd say I hired from proximity, just those around,
Those you know.
versus like strategically.
Yeah.
And that got me some real good pickles. And now doing a lot more prep work ahead of time, and then really working through from a personality, not just there's Enneagram, there's a lot of them. We soak them all in, but the culture index has been the most tactical for us. And then asking interview questions that really poke in to help understand how self-aware the individual is, and then really help understand how they're mitigating or how they might be stretched in this role where there's a little bit of a tension of, hey, this area of your job, it's showing you might be struggling there. Like, how do you mitigate that? Or what would you do to solve that? And so that's been really, really helpful
Good.
over the past couple of years.
Yeah.
Well, it's a hard thing to learn. And as Jim Bob knows, I say probably far too many times that most business can be distilled down to one of two types of problems. They're either drama problems or they're math problems.
Yeah.
How to deal with the drama problems is an art form. How to deal with the math problems is more straightforward. It doesn't make it easy, but it's more straightforward. And they can both affect each other if you let one get away from you for too long. And I'm sure that you have had some instances where one has kind of gotten away from you, because it doesn't matter whether it's a math problem or a drama problem, all of that can affect where you are heading with your core mission.
Yeah.
Can you think of any particular instance that you're able to share where that you had to figure out a way through something and how you came out on the other side of it?
I'm going to say the harder. I think the drama side's harder.
It is.
They're, because, yeah, it's not math, it's not numbers. I would say I'm really starting to understand I use the word mojo or magic, or just like when it starts to really flow organically
Right.
with less and less hiccup. So I
Right.
mean by mojo. And so I'm sometimes telling the team to protect the mojo. It's like, don't let your guard down, grow the mojo. But I have found it is so delightful once you get someone in the right seat that is uniquely designed for that role. And
Right.
it's so amazing how it starts just to flow autonomously as well. So I would say the challenge has been I haven't had that. And I've had to really rebuild the whole team. It started about 3-ish years ago, and then really tangibly, or like it started really moving the last 2 years. And that whole process was a lot of recognizing and helping others recognize that we are not in the right seat. Most often, not even in the right company for how you're uniquely gifted. And so it was really challenging to depart and have it be positive, because it's not positive to get fired, right? You never like that,
Right.
but to help the individuals understand that the near-term sting is hopefully worth the long-term alignment for you. And so I know that's not like really specific. I can get into a specific exact scenario, but that's where my mind goes. And that's been one of the greatest challenges. So effectively, you could say rebuilding a leadership team or building a leadership team for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
And what that required was doing the work to understand each role, and then understand what strengths we do have and what strengths we need to hire in. So that's kind of a macro one for me. But rebuilding leadership team has been the focus. It's where most of my frustrations and brain calories have been in the past 2 years.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a hard thing to master. And I think that the people who are really smart at it understand that they never master it.
Yeah.
It's always something you can get better at. And the biggest takeaway that I've ever learned from anybody who is a mentor to me that I try to employ is get really good at asking questions. And I don't mean just yes or no questions. How do you feel today? Anything like that. But ask open-ended questions that evoke an answer. And if you get really good at it, you can tend to lead the people where they need to be, even if it's a hard conversation, to answer their own question. Because most people are pretty smart if they're doing well or if they're not. And they generally have an idea of what they need to do if they're being honest with themselves to get out of it. And if not, they might have at least a gut feeling. So I guess my question to you, have you ever had an opportunity when you've had these hard conversations to see that aha moment with them?
Yeah. I'm glad you're bringing this up because this is getting more real now. For this, specifically the past year, but I'm starting to really learn I'm going to butcher this quote, but it's something like, if you're dictating, you're not leading, or if you're just giving directives, you're not leading, or something like that.
Yeah.
And that really clicked for me of, okay, if something's not going well, old Jacob would just go and solve the problem and tell the leader what to do.
Right.
And I would really kind of falsely prop them up because there really wasn't capability to do that, but I didn't really see that. I just saw a problem and I was just moving fast and going to basically solve it for you and then tell you what to do. And now new Jacob is really going in there and asking questions of, how do you feel it's going? Or what's going wrong here? And then, hey, how would you fix this? And really having them self-identify and then try to solve, just to build that critical thinking and the understanding holistically of the issue. Or it really helps me understand if there truly is a lack of competency, or just a need for some training, or just more communication or something. Helps just basically understand what's going on a little bit better, versus making the assumption, solving the problem, and just moving on. That person has no chance to grow. You have no clarity if that is just going to continue to happen or not, because they just don't have that skill set, or they need training in the wrong seat or whatever. And that's been really enlightening and really fun, honestly. It also I think it's just a better experience on the receiving end.
Sure.
Well, and I think it takes wisdom too, from your perspective, to get into what's going on with that particular leader or that employee, is to try to understand where they're coming from. When you have an issue like that needs to be solved, you have choices, right? Your choice could be, well, I'm going to come in and solve it, tell you how it should be done. But when you step back from that and you ask somebody, like, how do you see this going? You've got a few things at play. One, do they have they never experienced this type of thing before? And what they're bringing to it is really hard for them to apply. Do they really have a great idea of how to solve it, but they've got imposter syndrome and they don't feel like their solution is worthy or will be judged well by you? And then if you do swoop in and you solve it for them, they're like, well, if I mess up, Jacob's either going to fix it, or Jacob's going to keep seeing that I don't have what it takes and I'm going to be out. But taking that step back and taking a look and seeing, okay, what is the issue? Does this person have the same view of the problem that I do? And maybe my view of the problem is not exactly accurate. Maybe they've got a better perspective of it. I'd love to hear what it is. And then we can kind of meet, and try to figure that out together. But I like what you said, though, about if I just go in and solve it, then I'm not giving them the opportunity to grow. I'm not giving them the opportunity to apply what they're bringing to the table. And don't let them actually, operate in their zone of genius, which honestly is what I hired them for in the first place.
Exactly. So it's been a great journey, and we're able to. Really good leaders will appreciate that. Like a really high level leader, like, just won't put up with that. Honestly,
Exactly.
yeah, I'm recognizing that as well.
So Jacob, I mean, so you've been doing this for 8 years now. You've learned a lot. You've had a lot. It sounds like you've had some hard lessons. What has been a big win for you as a leader that maybe some other young business owners can learn from?
I'll stay on the leadership side, and then we'll go into some fun, just like business wins, which
Okay.
obviously they're connected, they're the same. But I would say, there's a time, and there might be some other founders out there where I didn't want to go to work. The team that I built, I didn't align with them. It wasn't the culture I had envisioned. I didn't really enjoy working with them or problem solving with them. But we're just so much misalignment, along with all the business challenge and all the pressure there. It was too
Right.
much, and it was like I had created my own little prison, and it really took me just understanding the basics of, hey, Jacob, no, you own this thing, right? Like you can change this reality. And for some reason, I got so in it, I didn't think of it that way, which is kind of crazy. But I snapped out of that and lead into now. Man, I enjoy coming to the office. I enjoy problem solving with our leadership team. I enjoy engaging with all our support staff. It's delightful. And I've also gotten feedback, not too many people have been here that long. We're kind of rebuilding our tenure base, but even the people that have been here for a little bit, they're seeing, and they have told me they see a lighter Jacob.
That's great.
I take that as I'm a little more fun to be around. And I describe it as lightness. And so it's just so delightful. And so if you can get that right, and we're still obviously work in progress, always pushing together, always hard conversations, realignments, miscommunications. But that's been a really big win. And it's honestly given me a little bit more stamina to endure and to continue to build. Because if I was in the same boat I was, 3-4 years ago, I probably would have I don't quit. I can't quit, but I would have, it'd be close to, it'd be quitting in some way. I'm going to do something else, or maybe I would have quit. I don't know. So
I
that's been
got to
really
tell you,
great.
the dad jokes that are bouncing around my head that the founder of a candle company was possibly dealing with burnout.
Yeah, there it is.
Now he
Come on,
feels
let it
lighter.
let it
Now it
let
feels
it
lighter.
flow.
Yeah.
It's natural. Look, I'm a father of two. It's brewing within me. That one didn't connect yet. That's good. That's good. Dad
Well,
jokes are
so
welcome here.
what
Okay,
is
I'm okay with it.
what do you think success looks like moving in the future? I mean, look, take out your crystal ball and what do you see?
Absolutely. I see us being a leader in the clean and natural home fragrance world. We're already starting to win. We're in the top three, sometimes the top home fragrance brand in Whole Foods and other retailers. And that gives us promise that, hey, we're onto something here. But there's a lot of great brands out there that we compete with, a lot of respect for them. But I see, hey, we've got something here. If we can stay focused here and stay in the game long enough, and
Right.
stay committed to the excellence that we're committed to. I'm really passionate about that. I'm always reminding people, not out of that be anxious or paranoid, but like a healthy, like, guys, the human tendency is for us to rest on our laurels or let standards slip. And we will not do that here. Day after day, year after year, decade after decade, we're going to be that consistent, reliable home fragrance brand of the country. So we're going to continue to be just that, the slow turtle that stayed consistent, even though we're moving a little faster than probably a turtle, but we're going to be consistent and we're going to continue to win and be reliable in our little category of clean, non-toxic home fragrance products in natural grocery and then direct to consumer, leading manufacturing operations and a culture that's just from a manufacturing side, we really pride ourselves in that, and we are working hard to make this the best manufacturing job available in our market. Manufacturing can be a grind, and so many of those cultures are so transactional, and you are a number. That's not the case here. And so we've got a great production manager over there that's constantly fostering in just a great environment and hitting metrics. It's a good combo of both. So when I think about the future, I think about really excellent ops year after year. I think about leading the industry in innovation with home fragrance and serving our customers really well. And I think about funding the fight in all corners of the country and ideally having partners in every one of our states. So you can really get a little even closer connected and perhaps even know the name of the organization already that we're supporting, that you're supporting through our products. And I'm really excited about that. Really excited about that.
That is exciting. And I think that you've got a lot to say grace over and continue the mission. And it sounds like you're doing a lot of the right things you've had to learn the hard way in some instances, but that helps you moving forward. Thank you very much for joining us. This has been a great conversation.
Hey, before we
And I
go,
hope
Richard, I want to just kind
Yep.
of ask real quick, Jacob, how can folks listening get involved in fighting human trafficking? Obviously, buying a Calyan brand, but how do I get involved in a local level? How do I get involved on a national, international level? Like you said at the beginning, it's a hidden world, and most people feel like I can't have any kind of impact. Tell us about how you can actually have impact in that way.
Hey, thanks for asking that. Happy to share. I would look inward into your own habits, the type of content you're consuming, and how it might be connected to trafficking or people being coerced or forced into activity they don't want to be. Now, I would look at your family and making sure, and this isn't to freak out, but just making sure your kids are being safe online. There's a lot of pitfalls and traps there.
Yeah.
There's a lot of ways to mitigate that in a way that, hey, it's not going to freak you out, but be intentional there.
Yeah.
Be really intentional with online. That's the story we hear. It's not kidnapping, abducting in physical world. It's luring and deceiving in the interwebs of the world through video games, through apps, through people. Anyway, a trafficker can get connected to someone that's in a vulnerable state.
Right.
You're mad at your parents and you want to run away, or there's all these just horrible stories. And so I'd look at your family and then your community of just, hey, be a cheerleader for that, being intentional online with people that are vulnerable. And then you definitely can go to our website and see the organizations we're supporting and start donating directly to them. We've done a lot of vetting work. Of course, you have to trust that we've done that. So I get that. Go do your own research, engage with them directly if you need.
Right.
But you can trust it a little bit more than just a random organization. They're good and bad, like any area. And so I would start engaging with the direct organization in an area that you feel most called to. So there's a lot of different areas. There's preventative work where you're training, equipping people how to be safe online, or going into elementaries or juvenile detention centers and helping identify. And then there's prosecution, the justice side. There's a lot of interesting activity going on there. And there's data. There's a lot of different areas. And so you have to commit some time.
Yeah.
That's what it takes. And it takes intentionality, just like anything. But I would say if I had to tell you one thing, it would be to monitor your own behavior and your families and being intentional about that.
That's a great question.
Yeah, thanks for sharing that, Jacob. I appreciate that. I knew listeners that would want to know, what can I do besides buying, candles or fragrance? Not that they shouldn't do that as well, but I appreciate you sharing that information as well. Where can folks find your products? Where and the information at your website?
Yes, so you definitely our website, calyanwaxco.com, Amazon, if you're an Amazon shopper, Whole Foods Market, if that's your store, you will find us there. We've got beautiful seasonal assortments, everyday assortments, your Sprouts Farmers Market and the vitamin body care section,
Right.
and a variety of other independents. We're in over 500 boutique Main Street stores. You can go to our website and find a boutique that's close to you. Of course, call them to make sure they have the products you're excited about, but we try to make it easy to find us.
Great. And so your website, Calyan Wax, is CALYAN waxco.com, right?
That's it. That's it. Exactly.
Cool.
Jacob, we appreciate you and we appreciate your company, and we are excited for your growth and for your future. And it sounds like you're on the right path, and hopefully others who are starting a business who are in about the same level of growth as you are can learn something or two about what you've dealt with and how that can help them.
Yes. Please reach out to me on LinkedIn. Happy to help.
Absolutely. Thanks for being with us.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Jacob.
Appreciate it.
Thanks for joining us for this episode of the Nice Business Podcast. We hope you got some valuable information and inspiration. We're always looking for great stories that will help your business be more kind and successful. And if you know of one we should hear or someone that would be a great interview, please let us know. To contact me, click the link here to go to my website or use this QR code. I wish you a nice business.